I bought every single WWE video game from my childhood. Y'all know wrestling games have a very special place in my heart. While I can't particularly say that I was a huge gamer when I was a kid, I was definitely a huge WWE video games gamer. I wasn't fortunate enough to play these games in their time. By the time I got a PlayStation 2, SmackDown vs. Raw 2010 was already out. But you know, I can't really complain because I got to experience most WWE video games at the same time. When I was a kid, I had a PC, and buying a console in my family just seemed like a very stupid idea. The only wrestling game I played in my childhood was WWF Raw, aka the worst wrestling game ever made. Just thinking about this game makes me wanna puke. There was also this place in my town where you can give a couple of dollars and play for a few hours, and the only wrestling game they had was SmackDown Just Bring It. I very vividly remember some dude saying, you know what? I unlocked John Cena, and we were like, holy shit, this motherfucker right here played as John Cena. You filthy liar, this game has no John Cena. But you know, from only watching other people playing SmackDown vs. Raw games on YouTube to actually getting most of these games at the same time, that was big. The issue is, I didn't have original copies. It's Lithuania, things work a little bit differently. You buy a PlayStation 2, it's probably hacked. Then I started making money by playing at funerals, believe it or not. And the first big thing I bought was Xbox 360, so I got to experience all the games, right? Like the newest game at that point was WWE 12. When it comes to the PlayStation games, I only had digital copies, so I felt like I need to get these games in my collection, and it's going to be a very, decent setup. Of course, there are a few games that are not here, but I only bought games that I actually played as a kid. And some of you might think that it actually cost a lot of money. Yes and no. So it did cost a bit because there are a lot of games right here. But the thing is, in US, people probably look at these games like it's a collector's item, right? Like these games are old, maybe a bit rare. I've looked it up and some of these cost almost as much as the new WWE 2K games. Well, not in Lithuania. In Lithuania, they almost want to throw it out. Some of these games, I think, cost me like $2. Some of you guys asked me about the setup, so in this video, I want to answer the questions about the video games, give you my thoughts on every single game, and well, how much it roughly cost. So we have our PlayStation 2 games, Xbox 360, and the PlayStation 4 and 5. The oldest game I have is SmackDown Just Bring It. One of the first wrestling games I've ever played. Looks pretty good. I think it's in a pretty decent condition given how old this game is. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with a manual. Only pay $3 for this one. SmackDown, shut your mouth. You know, people are saying Here Comes the Pain is the greatest wrestling game ever, and I feel like this game is not getting enough love. I feel like it's very, very close, if not as good. Absolutely love this one. The season mode is unbelievable, and it has a manual. This one cost me $3.50. SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain? Yeah, people, I have 2 copies of the same video game, and it's not like I'm a huge fan, which I am, by the way, but that's not the reason. So basically, I couldn't find this game in the Lithuanian site, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it on Amazon. Paid $20 for the copy of Here Comes the Pain, and I wouldn't regret that. The game is awesome, you know, the condition is good. It's all fine. But there was a problem with the shipping, it didn't arrive, so I was like, I'ma cancel this, so I wrote a message. Then I found another copy in Lithuania for $4, so I was like, okay, that was the only game I couldn't find before. Yeah, I'ma buy it, and this one arrived too, so I got 2 copies now. Here's the thing though, the one that I paid $20 for doesn't have the manual, and the cheaper one has. So, yeah, guess I'll just keep both copies now. SmackDown vs. Raw. One of the rarest games to find on the internet, actually. But thankfully, it was actually quite easy for me. It only cost me $6 too. I think the game was good, but it's kind of a shame that the newer game is worse than the previous one, which is SmackDown Here Comes the Pain. I did enjoy this one though. I like how these games do come with manuals and shit, right? Pretty awesome. SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Some people are saying the greatest wrestling game ever made, and I think it's good. As you can see, the condition is not the best, but I have an idea. So basically, if you remove the cover, it's perfect. So I'm gonna buy the case. I'm gonna buy new cases, and these are going to look pretty much brand new. Again, it has everything you need. By the way, paid around $6 for this one. I don't think it's the best wrestling game because I believe the next one is actually better. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Absolutely love this game. It's crazy how graphics are still holding up, you know. Unfortunately, the cover is not the one you're used to. This is a European version, but given how old this game is, I think it's in a pretty good condition, and it does have everything you need. Will you guys be watching? Truly one of the goals that actually introduced me to rock music pretty much. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. A game that doesn't get enough love because it moved from one of the greatest wrestling games ever, 2007 SmackDown vs. Raw, but I feel like this was pretty decent. I feel like the gameplay was worse, but what I did like about the game is obviously the introduction of ECW, and I really loved GM mode. It's one of these video games that I just kept coming back to. And this one cost me $7. SmackDown vs. Raw 2009. So here's the thing. Controversial opinion, by the way, not the best condition. I'll need to replace this one. It does have a manual though. I do feel like this is the weakest SmackDown vs. Raw game. I take SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 over this one any day of the week. Legends of WrestleMania. Good idea, not the best execution. I like the presentation, but the gameplay is really, really boring. You play a couple of matches and you're like, okay, I get it. Paid $8 for this one. SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. I enjoyed this one. Road to WrestleMania was really, really good. It's one of these games that you still want to go back and play. I feel like the best Road to WrestleMania was probably Randy's. Really enjoyed this one. It doesn't have the same magic that the earlier SmackDown vs. Raw games have, but, you know, pretty good. Definitely better than SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, and it cost me $11. But it's in a pretty decent condition, I would say. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. The GOAT. The absolute GOAT. Oh, the great one. Why is Randy Orton on the cover? Again, European version. Not that I mind since Randy is my favorite wrestler. I believe this game is so underrated. The graphics still hold up. It's crazy how good this game looks. And the weapon physics, you know, still better than any other WWE video game to this day. Love this game. The GOAT. Love ya. WWE All-Star. So, it's absolutely wild how good this game was. Didn't have any goddamn reason to be, but still one of these games that people want to see a remastered version of. Don't have the manual, but whatever. Love this one. $9. WWE 12. So, here's the thing about WWE 12. I feel like ever since this game, fortunately, depends on how you look at it, every single WWE game started to feel a little bit too similar. Like, every game that came after this one was kinda the same, honestly. Now, we did get all the updates, the game modes, and yes, it was a different game, you know, I'm exaggerating, but if you compare games like SmackDown vs. Raw, every game is completely different. For the most part. And this one cost me $11. WWE 13. A brand new copy, by the way. Yes, I got a brand new copy of this game in 2024. Yeah, this one is crystal clear. Pretty underrated. CM Punk on the cover, Attitude Era. What else can you ask for? Now, the thing is, I got this brand new for $16. It had the wrap and all that. So, pretty good. You know, can't complain. WWE 2K14. One of these games that you still love. People are saying, what is your favorite WWE 2K game? 2K14. Well, yes, it's called 2K, but it was already made under THQ. They just had to change, you know, the name of the game, basically. But I do agree, it's really, really good. They sped up everything. 30 years of WrestleMania, done better than now. So, really enjoyed this one. One of these games that I still would like to, you know, go back and play. Let's move on to PlayStation 4, WWE 2K15. Very controversial, very controversial. When it came out, I actually did enjoy it despite its flaws. You know, it had career mode, as bad as it was. I still try to enjoy it. I like the new graphics and all. It's crazy how this one looks better than any other 2K game, except for the PlayStation 5, you know, games. But, yeah, the cover looks pretty decent. And I paid $11 for this one. But yeah, I remember the graphics were nice at that time. WWE 2K16. So, I do have a problem with this. Not Stone Cold Steve Austin being on the cover. The fact that it started to look the same. It started to look the same, it started to feel the same. I did enjoy the game. Again, Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin. It was a better game than 2K15. Unfortunately, it looked worse. The graphics were definitely worse, and it progressively got worse each year until I think it was 2K18 that looked a bit better. Surprisingly, only paid $7 for this one. WWE 2K17 with Brock Lesnar on the cover, but no, it's not as good as Here Comes the Pain. As a matter of fact, pretty underwhelming. Career mode was not that good. No showcase mode. No changes pretty much in universe mode. I feel like this was a bit of a disappointment. Not sure how I would feel right now, but I remember playing this game for like a week and felt like, well, nothing new here. For whatever reason, this one was pretty expensive. $17. Oh, it's called 17, so I'll charge $17. You geek. WWE 2K18. So I remember Seth Rollins being like, we need current WWE stars to be on the cover. And we got this game. They tried to replicate SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 with all the free roaming in career mode, except it sucked. It really did. It really did. The graphics looked better. I'll give you that. They improved it. Not as good as 2K15 though. It was just better lighting. Again, it's really hard to talk about these games because ever since 2K15, they're very similar. This one cost me $12. WWE 2K19, one of the best wrestling games ever made. A little bit overrated. AJ Styles with nice, luscious hair on the cover. I feel like it's a little bit overrated because the next one sucked and people kept playing it, but it was good. It was definitely good. I'll say this. It was the perfect version on PlayStation 4, and it felt like, you know, there's pretty much nothing else you can get out of this game. So I'm glad that, you know, we got WWE 2K22 and it all changed. $11. WWE 2K20. This one was brand new when I bought it, actually, because I just wanted something to play, and that was the newest game, you know. That's basically, I decided to buy a physical copy at the worst possible time, the worst possible game I could. Now, the game wasn't that bad in my opinion, it's just that it was worse than 2K19 and had a lot of glitches, pretty unfortunate. We wanted something new. 2K19 was pretty much maxed out, if that's even a sentence, and this one, you know, took a step backwards. It also had all the zombies and shit, like, come on. I believe I bought it for like, fuck, $40. It was brand new back then. Oh my god, 2K Battleground. So I bought this one brand new as well, just so I could make a video. I already had a copy, but I gave it away to my little cousin, so yeah. I had to buy this game twice. This piece of shit, this absolute piece of garbage. I expected more from this game. I really did. I thought it's going to be like All-Stars, but shit was boring, man. Shit was boring. And how much I paid for this one? $18? Yikes. WWE 2K22. Just bought it. Brand new copy. Really good in my opinion. Updated graphics. Updated gameplay. It finally felt like I was playing something new. I already talked about this game quite a lot, but, you know, pretty good. Pretty good in my opinion. Thankfully though, only paid $19 for a brand new copy of the game. Finally, WWE 2K23. Really good one, unfortunately. You know, as you get older, I'm not old, I'm 24. But the thing is, like, I have a wife, I have a kid, I have my YouTube career, and I put a lot of work and time into it, and you don't really have a lot of time to game. Which is really unfortunate because this is one of the best wrestling games I've ever played. The thing is though, didn't really have a lot of time, so I'll try to manage it next time. Didn't really spend a lot of time in this video game, but really enjoyed it. By the way, it's a brand new copy, it doesn't have a manual. Am I the only one who didn't get one? Who's getting lazy? So basically it's like WWE 12. Every game is going to be really similar until we get like the updated one with the new graphics, like actual PlayStation 5 graphics. This time around though, it's not necessarily a terrible thing because WWE 2K22 was good, so now we can just expect some updates, upgrades, better game modes, you know, updated GM mode possibly. That's the thing about these video games right now. But like I've said, unlike in WWE 12, it's just a little bit more exciting. By the way, paid $28. So this is my WWE video game collection. I only bought WWE games that I played as a kid. Like, I didn't buy No Mercy, Day of Reckoning, or none of these games because I never got them. I didn't have these consoles. I've only played these games on emulators, and that's not the same. These games don't really have that much meaning to me, you know. And you know, I just wanted to have physical copies of these games before it's too late. So thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below how many wrestling games you own, which game I should add to my collection, and I will not be adding WWF Raw. never hate this game with passion. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you already did. And the great one, peace, love, and hugs. It's been a pleasure.